Hello, Instagram. Hello, all the socials. How are you all? I hope you're all well. So, this is what my hair looks like when this is like super wet and wild. Yeah, I just had a shower. Actually, I went to bed at 6 because I was really tired. And then woke up again at 9, had my dinner, and here I am now. Nothing like a good nap after work, isn't it? All right, so my name's Lala Angela Wang. If we have never met, today we are live on all the socials. And when I say all the socials, I'm currently streaming through StreamYard. I actually love StreamYard. It allows me to go through multiple platforms and multiple places. So if you want to find out more, send me a message. So right now I am going live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, as well as my new Instagram account, Angela_Lala_Wang. It's actually the reason I created this new Instagram page is so it's more focused on what we're talking about today: multiple streams of income, business, and business opportunities for family in order for you to create freedom. But also, in doing so, I want to support families from a health perspective as well. So it's about creating healthy habits, what I call the back to basic foundations for you and your family, so you can enjoy an abundant life, basically. All right, so I actually do want to record this just in case I want to make it a future podcast episode. So let's do a podcast intro and then we'll jump straight into it. Hello. I'm Lala Angela Wang, your host to the Womanly Way podcast. Welcome to this episode. So today we're going to talk about why I believe that everyone should have a business. Doesn't matter whether you're working for someone else or not at the moment, but everyone should have a business, and why we should all double down in having additional streams of incomes right now. A bit of background about, I guess, my entrepreneurial journey. I've always been very entrepreneurial. I think when I was younger, obviously, I found all the way to earn pocket money. My very first job that was not paid for by my parents was actually delivering local newspaper and advertising twice a week. And then, and it was, I think it was 13 back then. And then when I was 15 or maybe 16, I started my first job as a hotel, a cleaner at a local hotel. Oh my God, probably one of the hardest job I've ever done physically. I remember, like, I don't even have a driver license back then, so my mum would come and pick me up. And I would be falling asleep sitting on the curbside waiting for my mum because I had to get up early and it's very labor intensive, right? So, yeah. And then from that point on, I've pretty much worked the majority of my adult life whenever I can. When I was at uni, I may not have worked. I don't think I've worked early on during my uni years. But definitely, like, summer holidays, I will always find something to earn a bit of pocket money. And even though, like, even through my high school years, I've had joined extracurriculums, like they were called, I think they're called the Entrepreneurial Club or Young Entrepreneurship Competition or some sort. And I remember catching up with one of my friends in Auckland earlier this year. And they were saying, oh my God, remember how entrepreneurial you were? And you were like literally, grab all your friends and get them to help out as well. I don't pay them. I'm just like, well, if you are my friends, you're supposed to help me anyway. So that continued on, right? That spirit continued on. When I was with my ex-husband, I kind of toned down a little bit because that was like, oh, can you just not? They were thinking that I was a bit silly, wanting to get all these extra incomes. And I would always be thinking about how I can save more money in order to invest in more property. But my ex was very conservative, and we just have me and his family just have very different, I guess, ideas about investment. So after our divorce, guess what was on my mind? As soon as we sold our property, I was like, yup, on the hunt for my first investment property on my own. Oh my goodness. And I managed to find one pretty quickly, I think. I started the quest in May and I landed myself a property in August. And I knew back then, because I was so busy and I was on my own, I was not going to put myself through driving, in the suburbs of Sydney and trying to find my ideal property. Because the saying is, you're meant to look at 100 properties, and then with 100, we're down to 5 that you are really, really, really interested that you put in an offer. And out of a 5, you may have, 3 that you're very close to the table and 1 that you end up buying. I was like, I'm not going through hundreds and hundreds of properties on my own. So I actually hired a buyer's agent to help me do that. And that turned out to be the best investment I've ever made in terms of my property hunt. And from there, I then sit on that property for a little while. I also started my own business in 2015, my very first business in 2015. Not very successful back then because I had seriously no idea what business is. I just had this desire and this drive to help and support people, and I had a vision, which is essentially the vision of the Womanly Way these days, and also with Family Freedom Creator, which is my new venture together with my family. It's really to help holistically, to help in what I call a full circle of life. Instead of just focusing on one area, I really wanted to create holistic businesses that support you from a mind, body, spirit perspective, but also with an added factor of wealth and abundance. Because I truly, truly believe now is the time that we need to educate ourselves and our next generations about money, about finances, about what wealth and abundance really is. It's not always about money. There's abundance in health, there's abundance in knowledge, there's abundance in the relationship that we have, right? There's abundance in your mindfulness, in your connection with spirit, in your energy. And that's why all of these components are important, vitally important. And I don't believe a successful life can be created if any of these components are out of harmony. By the way, I use the word harmony rather than balance generally, but in common, I guess, in your mind, that's the word that I'm replacing. I don't believe in balance. I don't believe in 50-50 because that's what balance is to me. But I do believe in creating your form of harmony. So fast track back to now and back to today's topic. Why do I believe that everybody should have a business and also multiple streams of income or additional streams of income? But not just one, and that's why it's multiple. I'm going to start with business. Like I said, at the beginning of my business journey, I sucked. I had no idea about business. I was trying to do everything on my own. And I thought I had to put all these amazing systems and processes in place first before I can do anything. So when I started my first business, number one, I was biting off too big of a chunk at first. I wasn't biting off small chunks. And I tried to create workshops on my own when I had no like idea about what I want to create. I just remember going through this period where I was sleeping about 2 hours a day. And I would go to work. I'll be so tired. I'll be like, dozing off. And at the end of that first week, I'm like, I'm so not cut out for business. So my first year in business was a shamble. Plus, I actually lost $12,000 overnight. And if you want to find out about that story, go and check out my podcast, the episode about my love for money. So really for me, number one, I think it is important. Business teaches, or business has taught me to better manage money, better understand money. But also it allows me from an interpersonal perspective, or from a work perspective as an employee, to see things from a different perspective, right? I now look at what I do in the corporate world, not as an employee that gets paid a wage or salary every month. For me, it's like, how do I provide solutions that would create win-win situations for businesses, like for our clients' business, for our own business, for all of the people in the ecosystem, and what is a win-win solution for the business. Because at the end of the day, everything is about business in the corporate world. Everything is about, how do you create the most amazing brand, the most amazing business, so you can get repeat clients, especially in a service-based industry. But funny enough, not everybody thinks like that. Right? When you can put a business mindset on all the decisions that you're making, the way that you present yourself, if you treat yourself as a business, and if you look at your personal brand as an important asset, I can guarantee you would have a very successful career. So that's one. But secondly, it's more linked because I believe that we should all have additional streams of income in this day and age. Not just one additional streams of income, but multiple streams of income. If you look at Australia, for example, the interest rate is highest it's been, I don't know, for as long as I've been in Australia. That's like 15 years, if not more, 20 years. My generation, I'm 40 now, perhaps we probably don't remember a time when interest was this high out of our working career, right? Our parents would. I remember my parents, when they first got to New Zealand, interest rate was high. And life was hard. And I really admire my parents, right? Immigrating to a new country. They've already paid off their house and having to get another mortgage to pay for our house in New Zealand. Luckily, back then, houses are a lot more affordable, right? Like the property that my parents are in now, we spent $280,000, I think, from memory, to purchase that property. And back then, that was still a lot of money. If you you consider exchange rate and then translate it to Taiwanese dollars, it was still a lot of money. But it's not as crazy as these days. And really, for me, if you look at the interest rate in Australia, the Reserve Bank has raised interest rate once again. Property that I said I bought in Bondi Junction back in 2015, I had to sell it when I had George because one, I wanted to extend my maternity leave, and two, I wanted to have 6 months of leave, right? There's 3 months of paid maternity leave that's supported by the government, and I had probably about 2 months worth of annual leave. So number one, I had to have money to support my family whilst I'm taking care of George on maternity leave. But at the same time, that property, in order to repay the mortgage and the interest, was pretty much going to take up the majority of my income because of the interest rate. So I guess what I'm trying to say is life is a little bit difficult right now, depending on which country you're in, right? For some Asian countries, you might be saying, hey, well, really, life has been pretty difficult for the last very long time. And to me, really, I believe the age of having double income and you'll live a really good life for you and your family, that era is gone, right? Double income, to be honest, is no longer sufficient in a lot of households, especially if you have a mortgage, depending on where you have you bought, but average Sydney houses are still over $1 million. It might have dipped down under $1 million during COVID, but it's gone up. It's gone skyrocketed, right? Even if you look at rents in some suburbs in Sydney right now, like a 2-bedroom apartment could cost you over $1,000 a week just to rent. That still doesn't include your utilities, your bills and all the other things. And that's why I truly believe that additional streams of income is a must. I also don't believe in putting my eggs in one basket. So for me, we have entered the age of, I don't like to use side hustles, but individual small businesses and additional streams of income. But what I also believe is not just have any additional streams of income. What I truly believe is providing options, right, that could benefit people at various income levels and various family situations. I was talking to a friend. Actually, I've been talking to a few friends and colleagues lately. And I was like, how are you guys traveling? And these are not just like single people or people with no kids. These are families. And a lot of them are saying to me, look, even to pull out an extra $100 a week is difficult. One of my colleagues is currently overseas visiting his family in the UK. And he's like, yeah, just trying to save for this trip was difficult. And that's a reality that we are living in right now. So on the one hand, we want to create freedom. On the other, we're kind of trapped by our current circumstances, right? So what you'll find, the reason that I created my new Instagram account, Angela_Lala_Wang, is, and it's called, so the nickname, is the Family Freedom Creator. Is that I really want to create a community, a platform, and a place where you can come and essentially shop around for your next adventure, for your next income generator, for your next additional streams of income. But also want to offer everybody opportunities to take a peek into the different things, to experience the different things, and to really truly understand, is it good for you? And I may, depending on the product, also offer you, instead of purchasing a product, you're allowed to hire it, or extended payment plans, all the things to help you out. As an example, currently I am promoting an online AI course, which I just absolutely love and adore. That teaches you how to use AI from a business sense. I will be rolling out a online course myself about how individuals working in corporate can utilize AI to help build their personal brand. The course is $47, which is the recommended price. It's got a master resale right attached to it, so I can sell it essentially for any price that I want. So instead of 47 USD, I'm actually selling it for 47 AUD, Australian dollars. And on top of that, that's already a pretty good price, right? So if you think about, if you are an American purchasing this product, it's probably going to work at about $30 US instead. So you're already saving money in that sense. But what you're also saving is, if you really struggle with 47 Australian dollars, there's a payment plan for $22 a month. That's $1 a day, essentially. That's, quite frankly, a takeaway meal. Pretty much an average takeaway meal, or average, if you're ordering for yourself on Uber Eats, that would be how much you'll be paying towards Uber Eats, right? Or your food. And this is because I have come to this realization that the universe has put me through all these business adventures and all these financial challenges. And really, it's for me to understand that not everybody can afford expensive coaching packages, mentoring packages, and expensive ongoing and upfront costs to invest in additional streams of income. And I truly, truly, truly believe that my gift is to help people find affordable entry point so you can start building the foundations. Right? And you might be saying, Lala, like $22 a month. How many $22 a month do you need to get in order to, put food on the table? Yes, but 10 of $22 is $220. That pays for the grocery bill, if I'm being frugal, right? And that's 10 people that I can then help to help another 10 people. And I truly believe that the universe has given me an amazing corporate job is so I can then feel safe and secure, because my family is looking after, to then help other people as well. And that's what I truly believe this next golden age of careers is really all about. It's about us all tapping into our gift to help others. It's more about contribution than thinking, what do I get in return? Right. And I have really come to this realization that contribution is more than anything. And if we can offering not just business solutions, but also support from the mind, body, spirit perspective, then that would be truly amazing. So for whoever that signs up to any product with me, you pretty much get into my inner circle of support. And I'll be supporting you in building your own additional streams of income, your portfolio, your business. I will walk you through my way of setting up my business, my workflow of communication. Essentially, you're getting a mentorship from me. It doesn't matter whether you invest $22 or $2,200 or $22,000. I'll be really grateful if someone decided to hire me as a mentor for $22,000. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You will get mentorship from me. Might be different levels of touch point, right? Obviously, the $22,000 person gets a lot of my attention, but the $22 person also gets a touch point on a monthly touch point, and you get the support of my community, including my extended community with my own mentor as well. So that's what I really desire to create. And I really think, long gone the age where we can just put one egg in the basket, work for a company for 10, 20 years, even though I love my company and I'm about to reach my 10-year in 18 months. Now really isn't the time. Everything's changing at a rapid rate. You want to be able to invest in a safe way, but in different portfolios so you can pull on various resources whenever you need. Right. One of the other things that we are doing as a family is that we're starting to use cash again, instead of relying on our phone or our credit cards, we're also reserving cash. I also know people who are reserving gold, for example, or precious metals or gems for that reason, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And I think we really need to keep all of our options open so that when the time comes, your funds are not locked in. When you don't have your job and when the ATM doesn't work, you've got other options, right? You can either exchange a skill, exchange something, or you could exchange other means of wealth, currency. You might laugh and say, well, what do you mean ATM doesn't work? And, but it was actually happened in Australia a couple of weeks ago. One of the major supermarkets here in Australia actually they had to close the doors for the day because their ATM system was not working. They couldn't get cash or money out of people's credit cards. And not many people have cash. And like today, for example, today is Melbourne Cup Day. And the bids at work, so we normally do like a not a raffle, but like a Melbourne Cup Day, like you pick your horse, or it's a lucky dip that we put our horse and then you put money towards it and see how much you can win. The bidding rates were down in the office because this activity requires cash and people don't carry cash on them anymore. Right? It's things that's as simple as this. And you could be missing out on opportunity just like that if you're not looking at various ways to create wealth. And that's what I believe. So if you are interested in any of the things that I spoke about, please follow me on my new Instagram account, Angela_Lala_Wang. Or you can send me a direct message and say, hey, tell me what all these stuff are about. And I'm more than happy to go over some of the things with you in detail. Or keep an eye out on my live series called Corporate Witchcraft and Pure Magic. So Pure Magic is my free, I guess, contribution to the online world about how you can create magic and flow into your life in the 4 areas that I spoke about, right? Mind, body, spirit, and wealth and abundance. So I'll be talking about, that a bit more. But really go and follow my new Instagram account. Again, it's Angela_Lala_Wang, because that's where I would be giving a lot of the right informations. And once we created the Family Freedom Creator community, I haven't quite figured out what platform I'm going to use it on. You'll also get access to it. So that's me for today, and that's me for this episode of the Womanly Way podcast. Thank you once again for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye all.